Hey y'all, I'm here with the recap of yesterday's Greeley City Council meeting, January 20th, 2026. We had 5 community members who spoke for community input this week. Steve Teets spoke to City Council in regards to the handout that he provided 2 meetings ago with no response, as well as his ongoing concerns around public transportation and repairs that need to be done. And he questioned whether the council has been acting through their Christian values, a point that Olson later addressed, expressing upset that his faith would be questioned. Then Rhonda Solis spoke in regards to the feasibility studies and the independent study by Newmark, which found that the reports from the city around Cascadia feasibility understate the risk while overstating the benefits. Greg Hammer spoke on behalf of his widowed neighbor, who just received a $132,000 water bill since the new portal went into effect, and concerned that the city has continued to pass the call around or just generally not respond. He shared that it seems many bills are messed up and encouraged residents to pay close attention, as his was also a mess. He reported that he has a long history in working in water. And then finally, Mary Metzger called out City Council for continuing to make fiscally irresponsible decisions and for not listening to their constituents. She expressed that we all matter and reminded Council that ultimately they work for us, the community, and they should be doing more listening than talking. During Mayor and Council reports, Olson stated that he doesn't know what the Newmark report is, but that Cascadia Catalyst is a public-private partnership. He then stated that the city won't own it, as a way to calm some of the fears. I found this a bit interesting, as it feels like doublespeak. We're told to be excited because we will own Catalyst, but not to worry about the risk because we won't own it, or so that seems to be the argument. I understand that we won't officially own it for about 40 years, but it seems interesting how which part of that we focus on seems to depend on whether we're talking about risk or benefit. DeBoutez reminded that she will be in the community for office hours twice a month. In fact, she will be at the Starbucks on 11th Ave today at 5 p.m. if you're able to stop by. Mayor Pro Tem McDonald reported that she also had an issue with her water bill, but that the city staff is very responsive. She also discussed updates from the airport authority, which she's a part of, including that they have an addition of 2 large fire engines that will be housed at the airport, as well as some corporate planes. As for initiatives, Butler requested to have the city look into a study to evaluate what it would look like to legalize marijuana sales in city limits and what this might do for city revenue. He has asked previous council, but to no avail, and so he had hoped that with the new council they would be willing to look into this. This did pass by consensus. Olson essentially requested, I believe, for the city to endorse a recommendation for a vote of no on 1A, not a surprise, for the special election. And by majority consensus, though not all members of council, not surprisingly, this passed. Rudy then proposed that the city consider reaching out to KFKA radio to ask if it would be possible to do an interview after each council meeting to provide an overview of the meeting. Sounds a bit familiar, but hey, I would love more communication. Part of why I do this is because it hasn't come from the city. This also passed. There was nothing that was pulled from the consent agenda, and it was passed unanimously. As far as the regular agenda, the resolution, second reading and hearing on the floodplain code was approved 7-0 with no public comment, not too much to report there. The second reading and hearing for the special election budget moving for the special election, sorry about that, was also approved with no public comment, though Butler and DeBoutez did both have questions. Butler asked about whether this was in fact an all mail-in ballot election, in other words, no in-person voting, and the city confirmed that this was the case, though also reported that it saved the city virtually no money to not have any in-person voting. And then DeBoutez confirmed with the city where the money was coming from, which will be from the general fund. They stated that there was a surplus of funds from last year, from 2025, in the amount of around $3 million that money will be pulled from. The housing affordability presentation that followed was really great. It was definitely worth a watch. It was a lot of information to take in, but the ultimate points that I grabbed from it is that it is getting increasingly expensive to live in Greeley, and income isn't keeping up. And there are some things that the city has already done, including Star Rise and Habitat for Humanity housing projects that are helping, and there's a lot more that we can do and steps we need to take. It was also brought up that from concept to housing ready to move in takes about 5 to 7 years. So they kind of asked that we work on getting started on some more projects, but also that there was a call for patience. They did discuss some of the incentives and options that we have in order to make some of that more affordable. So after that, it was just the business as usual, and there will be a work session, of course, next week, and then the next city council meeting will be the week after that. Have a great day.